To 7, this is Morning Express, and we start off with the question of the day where we are interacting with you. What do you make of CS Matiang'i and Aden Mohammed's contradicting statement on illegal sugar? The hashtag is Morning Express KTN. If you'd like to tweet, it's at KTN News. You can also tweet us directly, and the Twitter handles are displayed on your screen. And we'll keep that conversation going online as well as we keep it going here. But for now, we'd like to look at what's making headline on the dailies. And today, we could easily say that on the dailies, it's a sweet headline, and that's to do with sugar. Now, on the Standard, we have They Know the Secrets of the Sugar Barons. On the Daily Nation, we have Face Behind the Sugar. But let's do one at a time. We'll start off with the Standard. And the Standard here saying that they know the secret of the sugar barons. Now, yesterday, in the newsroom, we had asked you a question as to what you would like the media to highlight when it comes to this contraband sugar saga. And majority of you said that you'd like to basically get names, get facts and figures and names behind some of this sugar saga. Now, on the Standard, we have names, but not names of those behind the sugar saga, but names of people who should be accountable to you and let us know what is going on. They're basically the gatekeepers. It comes under their docket, and the Standard has highlighted that, starting with the likes of CS Matiang'i, the likes of CS Adan. And I want to hand over now to Zinzi Kibiku to introduce the panel that we have here this morning. But that is the headline on the Standard. Zinzi?
Indeed, Michael, quite a sweet headline that we have on our local dailies this morning. Of course, to help us go through this and really understand it even better, I have lawyer Ambrose Weda with me here, Kembi Gitwila, the former senator of Murang'a County, as well as the Honorable Kipruto Arab Kira. He's the deputy party leader for NC. Gentlemen, good morning. Thank you so much for your time this morning. Again, as even as you're having your tea, this,
it has no mercury.
It has no mercury. It's safe. It's safe for here. Weda, I'll begin with you.
Yes.
This stories of the sugar saga has exposed Kenya's standards when it comes to our food.
Yes.
And protecting Kenya's health, would you say?
Yes, let's get this very clear. When we talk of raw sugar, raw sugar is sugar which has not gone through the complete process so that it is fit for human consumption. And it is lawful, it is proper to import raw sugar. But that can only be done by a miller, somebody who has a milling factory. Then you bring it into the country, then you take it to the final stages of milling,
right.
Then you make it fit for human consumption because there are standards. In some countries, they process sugar to a stage, then they extract molasses that is used to make ethanol, that is used to make alcohol, and so on things. And that you export now to the US and so on, and it is more money than the actual sugar that we take. So when you import, you are allowed to import it. You are allowed to import to go and continue the final stages of processing. But now, the human nature, the unscrupulous human nature, you then come in, and because of demand, because sugar is a starch and it is addictive, and when the body demands it, people will take it and they'll pay a price. So when there's shortage, those who import the raw sugar then end up selling it without continuing the process. That's what makes it unfit for human consumption, and that's what makes it dangerous. So some of these businessmen lawfully imported, I think, lawfully imported raw sugar. But instead of taking it to their factories to finalize the process of processing, they decided to release it into the market.
And that leads me to my next question.
Yes.
Honorable Gitwila, I'd love for you to jump in here. You have the Kebs has the responsibility of making sure that everything that goes onto Kenyan shelves is healthy for the consumptions of Kenyans. But in this case, they've slept on their job. Because even one of the things as the media we've done a lot is explain how you can find out whether your sugar has mercury. But then again, that's the job of Kebs. That is why they're mandated. That's why they're there.
Well, see, when I was having this cup of tea, you said the sugar has no mercury. And it begs the question, where did you take it for test? Because yesterday, Minister for Industrialisation, Mohammed Adan, told us there is no mercury in the sugar. The Minister for Interior, Dr. Matiang'i, told us there is mercury in the sugar. And we are innocent Kenyans, believing in what our leaders say. And now these are two leaders giving us contradictory statements.
Exactly.
And this is the biggest mess I've ever seen myself. When I was a small boy going to primary school and then secondary school, there was a subject called civics or current affairs. And in this one, we were always told what's happening in the government from day to day. One of the things we were told is that, that there is something called collective responsibility in any cabinet, that what one minister says cannot be contradicted by the other because they are serving the same government, they are serving the same policy. Tomorrow, Matiang'i could be in industrialization. Tomorrow, the other minister could be in another docket. And it would be ridiculous if they then went to that docket and they're giving us a different story. So, I mean, these are the sad days we are living in, where we have one cabinet minister telling another one not to politicize sugar. The fact remains that one of them has told us there is mercury. The director of criminal investigations has told us there is mercury. However it came into the sugar, whether it was by mishandling of the sugar, when it was being, put from one container to the next, whatever, if there's a trace of mercury, Kenyans should know. And Kenyans do not even need to know because it should not have passed Kebs. It should not have passed Kebs. Right. It should not, first of all, have come through the borders if it was contraband or counterfeit sugar. So these are people, many people sleeping on their jobs, and I hope that heads are going to roll, because that Kenyan in Mount Elgon, all they want to know is that there is sugar on the shelf in the shops.
Honorable Kipruto, he raises a very valid point, because here one moment you have Matiang'i, who is in charge of the security docket in Kenya. That's our borders. Then you have Mohammed, who is in charge of manufacturing in Kenya, both giving two different statements towards Kenyans. Why do you think the divided leadership within this specific issue, coming from top government officials?
Well, as Mheshimiwa said, the last time I knew was what we call collective responsibility. And either one is lying or both. Because why do I say that? Because I don't think Matiang'i would have woken up in the morning and said, I must mention mercury and copper. There must be a reason why, or he must have been informed. Either the source of Matiang'i is wrong, or the source of Adan is wrong, or both of them are trying to play to the gallery. What worries me, about the issue of sugar is that we have so many scandals, and this issue is taking a political dimension. We are balkanizing the country into the victims of the sugar smuggling, or alleged victims of sugar smuggling, so that it looks that one part of the country is suffering because of the sugar problem, and another part is trying to engineer some kind of process to destroy their businesses. And we may be actually be playing into the politics of the next election. Secondly, sugar importation is not a crime because Comesa region itself does not have enough sugar. And therefore, and even the country called Kenya, usually we have a deficit that runs every year. So we do importation to cover for the quotas that we do not produce locally.
Right.
But the processes seem to have been messed last year, because at some stage there was a notice, and within 24 hours that notice was reversed. And some of the businessmen almost knew when the notice is going to be reversed, and therefore they had already brought some sugar, and others suffered because they had already ordered for sugar, and the sugar never reached within the stipulated period.
Right.
So this could be a war on sugar barons or sugar traders, and the war is now escalating to the public domain. What worries me is that today, whether here I've already consumed sugar in your studios, whether this is laced with any chemical or it is free from any chemical. And what is happening is that the government should give us a comprehensive statement that we have checked throughout the country, and the sugar that is in our shelves are free from any chemical lacing. Finally, on this particular issue, what worries me is that while rebagging practically almost in every place, whether it is in Meru, whether it is in Trans Nzoia, there is rebagging. Why are you doing rebagging? Moving from whatever came in, and you are now turning it into either Cabras, Mumias, Sony, or any other factory, which means the manufacturer of those bags also is somebody that should be a man of interest.
All right, so in-depth analysis of the sugar saga continues, especially on State of the Nation, and Michael Gitonga goes deeper with this specific issue, but we'll leave it on that note when it comes to this whole sugar issue. But Michael, what else do we have on our local standard?
All right, and moving away from the sugar issue, let us look at matters politics. On page 6, or rather page 8 of the Standard today, we have another story that was making headlines, and this is to do with the deputy president. Remember, the president had ordered and given a decree that there's going to be a lifestyle audit of all government staff, basically in the war of corruption. So the deputy president, William Ruto, has come out to say that I am clean and as the wealth audit looms. But something else that is also emerging from this lifestyle audit, and maybe I'll start with you, Honorable Kembi Gitura, is the question of bringing in the late founder of the country, Mzee Jomo Kenyatta. There are those who are saying that the lifestyle audit should go that far. Is that pushing it too far? We also have the deputy president saying and accusing the media of having highlighted him alone and nobody else. And whether this is just a charade, whether it's just, a PR exercise, or are we actually going to end up now having a lifestyle audit as a beginning point for rooting out corruption in this country?
In 2015, I was Senator from Murang'a County, and I was also Deputy Speaker of the Senate. And I raised the issue of lifestyle audits then, many, many times. And I talked about corruption. I even wrote about corruption, and I continue to do so today. And the reason I talked about lifestyle audits then is because I believed then, like I do today, that it is one of the ways we are going to catch up with these corrupt practices in public servants. Now, the president talked about the lifestyle audits last week. And everybody is now talking about it. Everybody, because the president has talked about it, everybody now has joined in and they are talking about it. And they wanted to make it look like a charade, as you have correctly put it. I saw one member of parliament saying that we should go back to our forefathers, Mzee Jomo Kenyatta, to his own father. It's ridiculous. I mean, they are playing around with corruption. They think it's a joke. They want to play with the minds of people. We are talking about public servants. Mzee Jomo Kenyatta, God rest his soul, is not a public servant in Kenya today. But if his son, like he said, is ready to go through the in-depth of the lifestyle audit, then that we are talking about President Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, not his father. So it's ridiculous for people to try and make a joke out of the whole of this situation, because lifestyle audits are very, very important. But there's one point I'd like to make, because I've been listening and following this debate very, very closely. It's okay to say that every public servant is going to go through lifestyle audit. I don't think that's going to be possible or it's going to be easy. My proposal is, it's in the Kenya Revenue Authority, KRA, income tax, they have something they call in-depth audit. If they suspect that you're fiddling with your accounts, if they suspect that you are not giving proper accounts, they have a right under the law to come to your office and to demand to do an in-depth on you, to go through every single entry in your books of account and to come up with exactly what they think you, the government, at KRA. It's called in-depth. It is done at random. There is no set rule about it. They can go anywhere. Now, in this country, if you look around, we know the people that should be, on whom there should be lifestyle audits. We've seen MCAs. We've seen members of parliament, be it National Assembly or Senate. Particularly, we've seen governors. When I raised the issue of these lifestyle audits in 2015, a very large number of governors came up against me. They thought I was targeting them. I have no interest in any specific person. But if quite obviously you've stolen money, when you came in as governor, you had nothing. And today you are owning almost everything in the locality, and even in investing offshore in other counties, so that you think you cannot be traced. It's so easy to get that kind of governor and tell him, listen, we have no problem with how much you have. We know you have this building, we know you have this, you know you have all these assets. Let's work backwards. Tell us how you have acquired these assets. And once that is done, working backwards, it's so easy. Because if a cabinet secretary, for instance, was appointed only recently, and now they bought a 200 million shillings house somewhere in the leafy suburbs.
It raises questions.
It does not just raise questions. It's common sense that either they are doing very good business, maybe they are selling mercury, or sugar coated with mercury, or they're doing something like that. It's very easy to tell them, this is your property. I have no problem with that. just show me how you have financed it, because we know your salary. Show us the businesses that you are doing and you were doing before you came into cabinet. And this is what lifestyle audit is all about, is going back to your life and asking you to tell us.
Mr. Weda, do you have confidence that this lifestyle audit will do what it's supposed to do, that it will bear fruit, given that as a nation that we just had one back in 2015?
We didn't have one in 2015. It was a suggestion. But already even the mere suggestion of lifestyle audit, you can see people yapping here and there. When you hear Waishime saying, let's go to the dead. Yet the key word is lifestyle, not dead style. We cannot go and see how Wakena Kenyatta, Wakena Jaramogi are deading themselves down there. We want to see which schools are you taking your children and where are you getting the money. If they are in Turi or they are in wherever and the fees is 1 million shillings or 2 million, tell us, where did you get this from, being a makanga, where some of them were. This is the audit. And the fact that the president has called it, and you can see people are already scampering for safety. You can hear people like Mheshimiwa Oscar Sudi talking, and they talk, and then they make the deputy president look bad. You know, some of your friends can talk, mpaka they think you are targeted. When now, like the deputy president, I'm ready. People are like, hey, what's happening? Where is the fear? So it is good, whatever worth, where we are, even a little step, even 1-inch step towards moral living is good. So when the president will come and tell us and we'll audit him, and I think we need the president's enemies to go and audit him, the deputy president's enemies, they're the ones who can carry out, and then my enemies to come and audit me and your enemies, because they'll go deep. They'll find when your shirt is worth 1 million shillings, your watch is 10 million, then, so it will work, although it has a very weak legal backing, but morally, because corruption is both legal and moral. The moral part, it is working and will work very well.
Honorable Kipruto, your thoughts?
Well, my thoughts are as follows. One, it should start at the top. In fact, we don't need to audit more than 200 people in Kenya. Let's start with the president, his deputy, the entire cabinet, and our governors, to begin with. And we concentrate our effort there. Number two, let us advise people, including the deputy president, that it's not the media that is lynching him. He's being lynched by his cronies. People who, up to the blues, they have been saying this is targeting the deputy president. Nobody is targeting him. Possibly he's targeting himself by exposing himself, saying that he has been lynched by the media. The media is not interested in any individual, or does any one of us get interested in any other individual. The most important thing is I'm happy he listens to the rumors, and therefore he's alive to the fact that people are talking about him, that all of a sudden he's richer than he ought to be, because we know, since he joined parliament, we know the farm that he has, and we know where he is. And if what was circulating in the media or in the whatever social media is true, that is worth 1.3 billion, that is a figure too high for him, $1 billion. Now, remember a country like Angola, within a span of 20 years, the daughter of the president is worth 230 billion Kenya shillings. The deputy president, who happens to be almost a relative of the president, is worth 300 billion shillings. And the country is wallowing in poverty. 43% of the people of Angola are in abject poverty. And yet the country is exporting a lot of diamonds and gold and oil. This is a situation that we, if we don't check this corruption issue and support the president, is going to eat us up after the next election.
All right, and I want us to move to the Daily Nation shortly, but maybe just before we finish on that, and let me come to you, Honorable Kembi Gitura. The question here being, how would this, how will it be done without people necessarily using the law or saying that they're being targeted? Because if I came and said, I want to audit Kembi Gitura, Honorable Kembi Gitura, what stops you from saying, why me? Why have you started with
Why
me?
am I not able to stop KRA from doing an in-depth on me? It's because it's anchored in the law. And I believe that the anti-corruption laws have lifestyle audits within them. If it is not strong enough, like Advocate Weda has said, that should be a matter of legislation, a matter of a simple amendment. Nobody should say they are being targeted. Because the ridiculous aspect of our politics and our nation, Kenya, today, is because everything is being politicized and ethnicized. If people come to me and say, no, you are targeting my people, it's not correct. Because like the president keeps saying, when I steal, I don't steal for my people. And until I'm discovered, nobody even knew I stole. And I was not stealing to help them. So we must come from that narrative. And we must, like Kirwa has said, it's not a large number of people. I know a lot of public servants in this country who generally go to work. They work very hard even in procurement, and all they are doing is to serve the nation. Then there's that other clique, 10%, maybe whatever number, whose sole purpose is to steal from the public through procurements. So when I say that I don't think it is feasible that every public servant is going to go through these lifestyle audits, is because if it is done at random and they come for you, you don't start saying that you are being targeted. Just tell us what you have, or rather we start with telling you, we know you have this, we know you have this, we know you have that. And that would be very good for a lot of public servants, including governors and even some senators. Then just work it backwards. We are not saying it is bad to make money. Making money is good. But we have many multimillionaires in this country, in the River Road, in Yamakema, all over the place, who've worked all through their lives, and they made a lot of money, genuinely. Through selling hardware and other things. We cannot keep talking about making money as if money as if it's a bad thing. Money is a good thing to make, but not when you steal it from the people.
And my point here being the 10% that are supposed to be checked are the 10% possibly that are legislators and are the ones who are able to block because of their positions in authority. But we'll continue with this conversation. We want to take a break.
Don't you realize that it's the same people being mentioned all the time?
True.
All the time. When we go to NYS, it's the same people. You go to sugar, it's the same barons.
And the same companies.
Companies.
Yeah, we'll talk about that in just a short while on State of the Nation, which is coming up. For now, we want to take a short break. It is now 7 o'clock and release KTN home viewers. But for those of us on KTN News, we're taking a short break. Let's come back with State of the Nation.
This is KTN News.
Are you in need of urgent cash? Get an emergency loan from Meridian Acceptance Limited, financing up to 60% the value of your car at a very low interest rate, just under 6 hours, and enjoy a flexible repayment plan of up to 12 months. Visit our offices at Anniversary Towers, 1st Mezzanine Floor, and Mudangari Road, plot number 38. Or call us at 0704 444 888. Meridian Acceptance Limited. Honesty, flexibility, trust.
To the outer framers, the turtleneckers, the fringe growers, you don't need to hide anymore. Try Dettol Even Tone. It cleans and helps to reduce the appearance of blemishes caused by oil, dirt and germs, giving your skin a healthy feel. Dettol, be 100% sure.
Business Today is a show that you can't afford to miss because we will explain how some of the global business financial exchanges could affect you and your business.
The time we are on air is really important because we will be able to tell you how the numbers have closed here in Kenya and what it means for the losing and winning stocks of the day, and also look ahead to what lies ahead in the global economy.
We are live. We are on air with a guest and with the latest trends in technology. We will explain what it all means right here on the program.
Make the connection on Business Today every Monday to Friday, 3 to 4 p.m. on KTN News.
The Telcom Enterprise provides the secure links to connect our Huduma centers, the ministries, departments, and agencies with which we integrate to our data centers. Telcom Enterprise puts the enter in enterprise.
Telcom Enterprise, enhancing business growth.
Ijole nusom siwa chojira mi renti bahada le renti bahad Rivira waru wa wani waru hesa targati duri man ke taye man fi chungat ori fatis akasini amma mani atakhayate tusuni yo atabarbaade way tigadin dufini ko man sun kaysa sagale argata
sababu wani anasafi abaya yo kaysa demi ana milmeti yo kwa dance milmeti somsi fa dance kasome tujina argatini male male na bilbini chir wa rabbi alim male wanti binkab
This is KTN News.